Hieronymus was right. Some things were worth waiting for. It took Virginia 1 year and 8 months before she finally conceived through IVF. It felt like I spent every day since her positive pregnancy test holding my breath, willing nothing to go wrong. Fortunately, nothing did, and Virginia eventually gave birth to 2 twin boys, Romulus and Remus. We actually went back and forth on the names for a while. I didn't know the names of too many historical twins, but I thought it would be appropriate. Hieronymus thought it would be embarrassing to name our children after a Roman myth, but once I got Virginia to support me, he eventually gave up. When Hieronymus and I were first discussing having children all those years ago, I remembered that I had told him that I wanted to have 2 boys and 1 girl. Although we had finally achieved that, I suddenly couldn't help but want a larger family. I don't know where the impulse came from, but it was there nonetheless. The only problem with that was that I was traveling a lot more. Minnie had been appointed as the ambassador for wild seed protections in the States, and she wanted to run anything and everything by me. I think part of it was still due to a guilty conscience over what happened to Ellen, but she wanted to make sure that she was getting input from as many real wild seeds as possible. Hieronymus wanted me to go along with it, and therefore I did. At least for a short while. You know what we should do? I asked him one day as I roll over onto my stomach. We were lying in bed in a suite in London that had been offered to us by Lord Carden while Hieronymus was attending a meeting discussing an effort to try to integrate technology into magical realms. Hieronymus was dead set against it, and though I had grown up with technology, it just wasn't something I missed anymore. Hieronymus asks as he reaches over to brush my hair out of my face. What's that? We should open up a school of our own, I tell him, and Hieronymus just chuckles. Well, think about it. You used to be a teacher. You know how to run a school. Teaching students the foundations of magic does not give one the expertise to run an entire academy, Hieronymus explains patiently. There are many other things to consider, such as overhead costs, student management, staff engagement. Yeah, I say with a careless shrug of my shoulders. But Jason told me a long time ago that you were the financial warden of Iris Academy. Even Jacob and Oliver told me that you practically ran the school yourself. And I was overwhelmed by my responsibilities, Hieronymus reminds me. I do not have time to be both a viscount and a headmaster. No, I agree, but maybe you can start the school and then get other people to run it. Like, we can call it the Grabiner Academy or something like that, and then you can hire a headmaster and teachers. Hieronymus stares at me for a long moment and gives me time to look at the frayed edges of his hair. I had used blue magic to keep mine more or less the same length as it had always been, but Hieronymus recently asked me to cut his hair for him after it had started to go way past his shoulders. I had tried to cut it just above his shoulders, but it ended up falling about an inch above them. He could have just used blue magic to fix it, of course, but he assured me that it was just hair and that it would grow back in its own time. You've given this quite a bit of thought, he says softly. And what kind of school would this be? How many students would we teach? I don't know, I say with a shrug. I haven't really given this that much thought, but Virginia's been asking me if we want any more kids recently. Has she said anything to you? She has, Hieronymus replies, but you always did say that you wanted 2 boys and 1 girl. I did, I admit slowly. But, I mean, things can change. Maybe I want more. Do you want more? Hieronymus grins at me. That depends. Will I still have time to have you all to myself? Most definitely, Lord Grabiner, I say as I lean forward and kiss him. He wraps his arms around me as he kisses me back, running his hands up and down my arms. We just lie like that for a while, just kissing before he eventually pulls away. Even still, he only keeps his nose about an inch away from mine as he speaks. I understand that Virginia would like to become pregnant again, especially considering that her health seems to vastly improve every time she is, but this is our decision to make. If we have more children, I think it would be prudent for us to both take a step back from our responsibilities. Alice throws a fit every time we leave, and now that we have twins to take care of, I worry that Virginia and Rita are becoming overwhelmed. I don't think they're too overwhelmed, I say as I lower my voice to a conspiratorial whisper. At least, not since they've started sleeping in the same bed together. Hieronymus's eyebrows shoot up in surprise. Oh? I don't know anything, I say as I hold up my hands and roll over onto my back. I don't know if they're together, but they have spent the last few years helping to raise our kids, so, it makes sense that they would bond over that. Hieronymus pauses in consideration. We should take a few weeks off to spend with the children ourselves, he says at length. Then we can send Virginia and Rita off on a vacation of their own. They've more than earned it. I can't help but grin at him. I love it when you're thoughtful like that, I say as I reach forward to kiss him again. And then, when they get back, we can talk to them about possibly having more children. It is our decision to make whether we want more kids, but it's their decision to stick around and help us raise them. If they feel that they're being overwhelmed right now with just Alice and the twins, they might not want to do it. We can always hire additional help, if needed, Hieronymus offers, and I just shrug. So, how many children do you want to have then? Maybe just one more, I say. Maybe we can have another daughter. Oh, Hieronymus asks as he raises his eyebrows. You want Alice to have a sister so she won't be bullied by her two younger brothers? Something about this strikes me as deliciously funny, and I can't help but snort with laughter. You have met Virginia, right? I ask. That's her daughter. Do you really think Virginia's daughter is going to allow herself to be bullied? You see how she is now. She practically bullies the staff into doing whatever she wants. Yes, she does seem to be getting a bit entitled lately, he admits. Spoiled, I correct him. We'll have to curb that, he says as he looks at me. I just have no idea how. Well, I think we have to start telling her no more often, I say with a pointed look in his direction. Both you and Virginia just say yes to everything she wants. It's me and Rita who have to be the disciplinarians, and I hate feeling like a bad guy and watching her cry and pout. Hieronymus seems to consider this. You do have a point. I think I have been worn down over the years submitting to your every whim and request. I have clearly lost my edge. Perhaps I need to be more strict with you in the future. Oh no, I say as I roll over on top of him. You're allowed to spoil me, just not the kids. Is that understood? I try to kiss him, but Hieronymus just jerks his head away. Hieronymus, I manage to say through my laughter. Hieronymus, kiss me. No, Hieronymus says with a shake of his head. No, Tori, you need to get used to hearing no more often. Fine, I reply as I sit up and scooch off his lap. Then the next time we're in bed together and you start touching me, get ready to hear a no from me. Oh, Hieronymus asks, and his eyes light up with the prospect of a challenge. Are you sure about that? He climbs on top of me as he kisses my neck, and I can't help but let out a breathy moan as I run my fingers through his hair, savoring the way it parted so easily between my fingers. Slowly, he slides off my shirt as he begins to kiss down the length of my body, running his tongue just beside my belly button. I'm still not hearing a no, he says in a low murmur. I know, I reply breathlessly. But you're not the one who needed more practice with that word, not me. Hieronymous muses as he continues to kiss me. So what you're saying is I should stop right now? I mean, if you want to keep going, I think you should, I say as I sit up on my elbows to get a better look at him. Remember, you're allowed to spoil me, just not the kids. Then will you spoil me as well? Hieronymous asks with a mischievous glint in his eye, and I can't help but shift positions as I move between his legs. You know, I say, pausing for a moment, we never did come to a decision. Do we want to tell Virginia that we want to have more kids, or no? That's in the future, Hieronymous reminds me. And this is now. He wraps his arms around me as he kisses me firmly, and I can't help but kiss him back. We had been together for over a decade, and I almost couldn't believe that Hieronymous and I still wanted each other as badly as we did when we first met. Sometimes it felt like that was some kind of magic all on its own.